Hey, third graders, you have already written down in your writer's notebook some information, and today I'm going to show you an example of a good visual informational presentation. So this one happens to be on landslides. Here's what the cover looks like. Let me show you a second here. There we go. So it's just about landslides. This was from when we did informational presentations on different types of weather events, natural disasters. Okay, so landslides instead of animals. Here is the introduction slide. You'll notice there's a photograph, a clear photograph, right? You can see how this landslide has come down from this mountain down over on top of this town. Let me read it to you. Here's the hook. Roaring water, rapidly falling rocks, rushing mud. A landslide is the sudden movement of land, rocks, and debris downhill. A landslide destroys everything in its path, including the land and homes. Read on to learn why landslides occur, where they are likely to happen, and how to stay safe. Now, what I want you to notice is down here, the very end of this paragraph, they talk about learning why landslides occur, where they're likely to happen, and how to stay safe. So those three things make up those rectangle middle pieces of our power organizer. They're going to answer those three questions. Okay, you're going to be answering some questions about the animal that you're going to be researching. Okay, their next slide is going to talk about that very first question they're answering. Why do landslides occur? Landslides happen as a result of weather, of natural disasters. For example, landslides follow volcanoes, earthquakes, or heavy rain. A scientist from Botanica says that, quote, landslides happen when a layer of earth separates from the layer below it. The force of gravity pulls it downward, unquote. As it flows downhill, it can pick up trees, boulders, cars, and other materials. So on the right side, they've got some pictures, right? Here's an earthquake. Here it is from volcanoes, and then now that heavy rain. You'll notice that they quoted a scientist, right? And they put what that person said inside quotes. And then at the bottom, they showed the source. Remember how we talked about you're going to cite your sources? This is where they got that information. So this is a link. If I click on this, it's going to take me to the article where they got this information. So they're actually quoting using the exact words of a scientist to explain to you, right, why landslides occur. That's the question that they're asking. Okay. Where do landslides happen? That was their second question. Landslides can occur in all U.S. states. However, NASA scientists say that landslides are most likely to happen where there are mountains or hills, as well as lots of rain and natural disasters. With that in mind, landslides happen mostly in California, Alaska, Washington, and Oregon. Outside of the US, China and Japan experience many landslides. You'll notice again, the sources where they got these videos are down here at the bottom, and I would click on that and be able to get to that information. I'm not going to click these, okay, because it's not going to show well on this video, but this is a cartoon about landslides, okay, and then this has got some real information, right, from National Geographic, I believe, that's going to show some information. You'll be able to see this. I will give you a copy so that you can watch these videos as well. Okay, but remember, they asked three questions, right? Why do they occur? Where do they happen? And then, how can people stay safe? Right? You're going to be answering three specific questions about your animal. It says, although landslides are destructive, there are ways for people to stay safe. NASA says the best way to stay safe is to avoid living by landslide-prone areas, meaning stay away from where they happen a lot. For example, do not live near steep slopes or close to mountain edges. Furthermore, families should have an emergency kit. A kit should include water, blankets, hand sanitizer, we all have enough of that, and a phone. And again, they got this information from the places down here, ready.gov, NASA Kids, and the Red Cross. Okay, and they just have one more good picture of what can happen to a home or a building if it gets hit by a landslide. It shows how destructive they are and why it's important for people to stay safe. Okay, they talk about an emergency kit, and on the next slide, they give information of what to include in that emergency kit. Okay, they've got a list there. That's a good nonfiction text feature, right? Water, phone, sanitizer, face mask, blankets, an evacuation plan so you know and your family knows what to do, how to get out, and a safe place to meet family members, right? If you were to get separated. They get all that information from the Red Cross. Okay, and then they put different pictures that matched, right, some of the words that they used. Here's an evacuation plan. It looks like a maze, right? You need to have a plan so you know how you're going to get out of your home. Okay, and then finally, here's their conclusion. It says landslides can happen without warning and cause destruction. Imagine rushing water, mud, trees, and boulders. It is important to be aware of landslide signals and be prepared to keep you and your family safe. So there's again another photo, right, of what happens and how it looks from this landslide onto the road. Okay, imagine, I don't know how big this is, but there could be a car under there or a bicycle. Right? It can be very dangerous. So they've included some really interesting text features, and we're going to talk about those as well, not today, but as we continue. This is a Google slide presentation, but they were able to add some really cool things like photos, right? Like some drawings here. They've also put the sources. They've cited, that's what we call it, citing that information. So I could go to that spot and find the exact information. They didn't make it up. Okay, and they talk about how to stay safe. And I love that they gave us a list of how to stay safe, right? If we were to create an emergency kit for living near a landslide. And then, of course, they give us our great mic drop ending conclusion. All right. So we're going to look at another example. We're going to look at sinkholes the next time we get together.